Alright, what's up guys? We got another Gold Division Cycle 6 match going on here, as RmR going to be taking on CoolIo in this Losers Bracket Finals. Did I mention what round it was? It's Losers Bracket Finals, in case I didn't before. So that means that one of these two teams is going to be advancing to Diamond Division for the next cycle, and that means this is a pretty good and important match, as that's obviously very important, you know, going to Diamond Division and all. Helpful. Things like that. Alright. What an introduction. Sorry, gonna be a solo cast once again, of course, as the rest of these Gold Cycle 6 matches will be, due to the difficulty with competizing. Legion side on RmR, gonna start things off with a ban on Parasite into Swiftblade. Archie Tiger gonna take out the Cthulhuphant and the Ophelia, so again, prior to the 3.6 patch, both of those heroes often banned out. Cthulhuphant has not received his nerfs yet in this iteration of the game, and neither of those heroes will be available anyway, but it's going to lead into a first pick Kraken for the guys on RmR into Tempest and Glacius. Hellborn going to counter with the other strength initiator in Magnus, as both of those heroes in Magnus and Kraken get picked up pretty much all the time. Engineer and Silhouette will be their last two picks. So Magnus NG combo, one of my personal favorites, and it's going to be hopefully going down here. I'd like to see those two heroes lane together in mid. Obviously it's a very potent and powerful combination, so hopefully CoolIo will be able to run it with great success. On the other hand, Legion have both Tempest and Kraken, and Glacius for that matter, so those teamfight ultimates are going to make a lot of difference. The initiation with Kraken, follow-up initiation from Tempest, and Glacius's damage potential when he hits that R button is actually quite high, especially when people don't stop him. So wouldn't be surprised to see some pretty good stuff going on from both sides. Obviously the Silhouette pick gives CoolIo the superior late game, at least for now, but I'm liking both drafts, to be honest. We've got a good mix of gank, team fight, strong heroes in general, late game potential definitely there for Hellborn, and presumably there will be some more from Imba Pingu on this RmR side, as he's definitely not finished his draft off. Pharaoh, Bubbles, and Rally will be the bans out for him, as he wants to remove some more of that initiation potential, it seems like, as well as some suicide options. God damn it! All of a sudden I can't talk. As we're probably looking at a mid Magnus thanks to that Engineer pickup, and that leaves the suicide option and potentially either a jungler or a second support left to be selected here for CoolIo. Legion likely looking for a suicide or mid, as well as the short lane option, and therefore the Hellborn bans of Ravener, Dr. Pulsar, and Dark Lady make plenty of sense. Of course, all of those would fit that short lane option, and Doctor, just a very popular, very difficult hero to deal with, so I can certainly understand why CoolIo doesn't want to face it. TDL, Pingu, quite a good TDL player, and she combos extremely well with both Kraken and Tempest, due to their tendency to group people up into one place and then charging strikes through them, and all of a sudden everything dies because she has massive damage output with that ability, as well as Dark Blades, and then of course the Rune Cleaver, giving her additional splash damage. So Kinesis is going to be the fourth pick here for RmR, and that's presumably going to be their suicide option, so we're likely looking at a Kinesis suicide, Kraken mid, Glacius supporting a short lane carry in the bottom lane. Puppet Master still available, Soul Stealer also still available. I think both of those would make plenty of sense in this lineup, as they fill slightly different roles. Obviously SS more of a AoE teamfight bursty type hero, or a AoE teamfight type hero, and Puppet Master a little more gank oriented and a little bit more early game presence, as he likes to get involved with that Assassin Shroud plenty. So we'll see what they go for, but presumably the last hero that they need is Pingu's, and it's going to be Forsaken Archer, which is a hero we almost never see, so it wasn't even close to being on my radar. In fact, it has not been picked up in Diamond Division yet this season, so it's kind of surprising that they're going to go for it. Definitely not a hero, like I said, that I saw coming at all. It is a nice combo with both Kraken and Tempest, the ultimate potentially doing a lot right there, but I'm a little bit iffy on it in general. Her Q spell is quite powerful, and Split Shot is decent, but unless you're extremely good with the skeletal minions, I just don't feel like it's that good a hero. And so, I mean, you can I'll often see people taking stats before they even take some of the points in either Split Shot or skeletal minions, depending on how they like to play that hero. And usually when people are skilling stats over their actual abilities, that's the sign of some overly weak abilities. The other issue I have with her is if you ever see a barbed armor on anybody on the other team, the illusion will immediately die the second that it hits the barbed armor opposing hero because it has like 1 hit point, and so you can kill it relatively easily. So a couple of problems with FA, and we'll see how they can use it in this game. I definitely see where the synergy comes through with the Tempest and the Kraken, obviously comboing their ultimates together very well with Forsaken, but other than that, I'm actually not too huge a fan of that pick. I feel like the hero is kind of weak in general, and I mean, I don't know if there's enough there to consider it really a top tier pick. I'm continuing to drop some frames right here, so if the lag gets egregiously bad on stream, please let me know in the chat, because I'm still not getting the greatest connection right now, and I may be able to do some stuff to fix it. Not sure what, but I can certainly try. Anyway, Hellborn going to finish off their draft with Revenant and Chipper, so that's going to provide some second support potential on Adro's side. As Archdagger is presumably... Actually, no, Adro should be playing the hard support here. Archie should be playing the second support, yeah. So it's going to be a hard support Revenant, and it's going to be second support Engineer, which is probably the correct iteration of those two heroes, or the correct usage. I feel like Revenant a little bit better in the hard support role, and Magnus not so much. Or sorry, Engineer not so much. So my guess is it's going to be either an aggressive tri-lane here, as we see the entire Hellborn team coming down and looking to perhaps block some camps out. Obviously, they do have a Tempest who's going to eat a rocket right there and isn't in any real danger because he's too far away to get a stun on him, but it doesn't look like he wants to be particularly aggressive there anyway. Interesting word of sight placement right here. It's going to spot a couple of things, obviously. This general area as well as the side off to here in the lane and then down to the left below the tree. So Adro and of course the bottom lane as well. So Adro going to get plenty of vision out of that one actually. Look at the sight radius right there, and it's pretty decent. I can see why they maybe placed it where they did. If you place it a little bit further up, you'd probably get a little more efficiency out of the vision radius, but you may not get the correct angle to the left of the word because of that tree blocking some stuff out. So with the initial Tempest being seen, and actually they're going to catch Kraken right here. Initial Lava Surge into the Keg Stun. It's going to be a nice combo. Kraken getting to take his charge, and he will get it off. The question is, do they have enough to follow this up? They might not. Yeah, and that was their bloodless attempt right there from CoolIo. So a good try, but I think it's pretty clear the Hellborn side made their move a little bit too obvious in terms of what they were going to do, and all of a sudden, actually, no, we might end up seeing Kraken fall right here. No, he's going to get the Magnus charge right into the tower, and he's going to take some good damage out of this, but I still don't think he's going to die. A lot of the regen being used. Revenant still trying to find him, and mana pots are going out all over the place. Q-Zane might still end up dying right here. He's found himself a nice little nook, actually. Now he's going to get spotted. Is it going to be there? Magnus still needs to lamp the stun, and is somebody going to die first? Yep, it's going to be Q-Zane, although Revenant now is trapped behind there. They need to have somebody tank this damage so that he can get out, and Engineer almost falling. The entire Hellborn tri-lane in this aggressive lane is very, very low, and they do not have too much else in the way of regen. Magnus is completely out. Engineer has 2 trees and 1 mana potion. Revenant currently sitting on the same as an extra mana potion for him, but looks like those supports will be heading back. So they do get a Bloodlust kill onto that Kraken, but he forces them to use a lot of resources. They've also used 2 Words of Sight right here, so was that trade worth it? I don't know. I'm definitely not convinced that it was, and it's a nice rotation there from RmR as they obviously saw the Hellborn team was going to move mid. Or sorry, move to the aggressive tri-lane in the bottom, and they figured might as well send Kraken down there. He's relatively tanky, and he, suicides for the exact reason is he survived for most of that right there. Instead, going to send Forsaken Archer to the middle lane, as she has 260 GPM, much better than Chipper, of course, who should get boxed out pretty effectively. Chipper has not too much difficulty zoning a Glacius, but it's not going to result in him actually getting much in terms of CS in this lane because, while Glacius annoys the crap out of him, Pingu is mostly focused on just getting creep kills, and wouldn't be surprising to see FA do very well in this lane. And now that they've gotten the Bloodlust for Cat Lomain down here, it looks like they're going to leave him alone. He has picked up a bottle as a result of that early kill, so regen situation should be just fine for him. And this is more or less a suicide Magnus now, as we see top lane, Revenant going to rotate up there and help out the Silhouette. So that was the other concern you might have. Actually, Stasis Match going to go down onto her, and that's going to be a kill as Marcus Moy falls in the top lane. And the lockdown there between Glacius and Kinesis and the damage output just a little bit too strong, so Legion side returned the favor and even up the hero kill score. So that was a concern that they need to address. Obviously, Silhouette, not a particularly good laner, and having her go 1 versus 1 against the Kinesis is a really, really dangerous time. Cookies, you can see, at 240 GPM, and Marcus Moore just at 140. So even before that, Cookies 9-1 and Silhouette 7-2. So without the support help right there, she is going to lose this lane to Kinesis, and that's obviously not something that you can really have happen if you're the Hellborn team. You need to get Silhouette off to a decent enough start. She does have some pretty good recovery potential, but the faster she gets going, the more difficult she is to stop, of course. And they're going to sort of reform this tri-lane up here, but in the top lane, and we'll see if that actually is going to be proving to be very effective. As Cookie's feeling like something's up. He doesn't have any vision, really. There's a word of sight off to the side here, but I don't think it spotted too much rotation from the Hellborn team. But he just has to play relatively passive right now. And Hellborn will focus most of their resources on trying to keep the Silhouette alive and keep her farming very well, and Marcus Moy, I'm sure, is going to appreciate that quite a lot, but the difficulty is that they're going to lose mid because it's a 2 versus 1, and they're already winning bottom, and that should continue as Magnus has too big of a lead for Kraken to do too much about it. But then you have to consider the jungle versus dual support strat, and the typical situation with that is even on gold, but the jungler team ends up with a larger experience lead, and we can already see that starting to take place right here, where the gold is almost identical, and the experience does go slightly in favor of the Legion side as Boz is nearing the 250 GPM mark. Top lane Cookies taking some damage, puts the Stasis Smash down on Silhouette though, and actually the Lotus misses right there, and Silhouette could be in a lot of trouble. All of a sudden, yeah, he's going to die. Revenant trying to get a counter kill, and they will do so. I'm not really sure why Cookies felt he had to do that, because, oh, Thunder Blast, is it going to be enough? He's got it back in a couple of seconds, but he really can't find the Revenant, has no idea where it is, and Bottle Charge is going to be sipped right there. But I don't think Glacius has the angle to try to kill this engineer. He wants to screw with the ward or with the pull camp a little bit, but can't. So anyway, I don't really know why Cookies felt like he had to go back in there, because Glacius was definitely going to finish off that kill. They didn't have any stuns, and Glacius had a haste rune, so Cookies taking a bit of an unfortunate and unnecessary death in that top lane, but they're continuing to kill this Silhouette, and that's obviously very valuable, as they want to prevent her from being able to snowball out of control, especially because I really think she will outcarry this Forsaken Archer. I mean, FA is a decent hero, and she does scale pretty well into the late game, but Silhouette, there's a reason we see Silhouette all the time, and we see Forsaken Archer literally never in Diamond Division, at the very least. But hey, this is gold, so, you know, all sorts of stuff can happen. There's a Stasis Smash once again onto Silhouette, gets frozen, gets the tree grapple out. The question is, will she bleed away? I don't know. Thunder Blast was already used. They need a couple more auto attacks. Death Lotus goes through, and actually, they will kill Glacius. Silhouette gonna fall. Yes, the last auto attack is disjointed by the split up, and Marcus Moy still alive here somehow. Kegson not gonna connect, but Marcus Moy has found a little hidey hole. If he gets the target onto Silhouette, what a play! Artsy Tiger gets the double tap, but Marcus Moy managing to survive there with some amazing jukes, and Cookie's just never able to find the target on it. So, a bit of a sad time. Eruption getting charged in the bottom lane, and it's like Kraken gonna fall right there as Magnus moves off to the side, finds the perfect angle for the kill, and Q-Zane ends up dying. So, a really good series of events going on for CoolIo in the last minute or so. As they pick up 2 kills in the top lane, they keep Silhouette alive, and they also continue their dominance in bottom as Cat Lemaine is over 400 gold per minute. Nobody on the Legion side exceeding 300 GPM, in fact, nobody exceeding 275 or so. Well, Pingu's right around that mark. I'm surprised that he actually hasn't had that good a time in the middle. And Omega is actually 270 gold per minute. He is 30-4, using those rockets to effectively CS, despite the fact that this is mostly a 2 versus 1 lane. Glacius is obviously rotated to the top a whole lot, so it's not like it's just been 2 versus 1 the entire time, and Chipper is taking advantage of that. I mean, he's not particularly far behind Forsaken in terms of overall creep score, so things looking not terribly horrible for RmR, but definitely not the greatest, although Cat Lemaine now is out of mana, gonna eat the Tempest ultimate, but they kind of stack stuns a little bit there. I don't think it's gonna matter just because he doesn't have the mana to get away from this. The Laser Kraken also gonna be used, and Magnus eventually does fall, but that was a really excessive amount of ultimates used, I think, to get the kill on a Magnus that had no health, no mana and no cooldowns. Bit of an issue. So, oh well. Middle lane up. Chipper looking for the Nation. Will find the Saw Blades on top of the Forgotten One. The first FA gonna counter with a nice ultimate, and that'll finish off Chipper. So it's a 2 versus 1, 1 for 1 right there. as they trade a support for a mid laner, and the Legion side will definitely take that. 8-minute rune to be spawning in a couple of seconds. It looks like it'll be controlled by Forsaken Archer at the top and by Kraken at the bottom. Invis rune will be picked up by Pingu, and he'll head right back to lane as Kraken finds a refreshment. So this game really swinging back and forth in terms of who's ahead. Obviously RmR with a, or Hellborn with a, on the CoolIo side with a nice Bloodlust, and they got an advantage, and then RmR with some nice pickups onto that silhouette, and then they're ahead, and then the Hellborn side returned the favor, and then all of a sudden the Legion get a couple of kills. So looking pretty even right now as far as overall situation goes, and these are two very good teams with some obviously well-recognized players and some good experienced HoN talent. So wouldn't be surprised to see this one go for 3 lengthy games, to be honest. And CoolIo with perhaps a little bit more to lose. The other thing to mention, Chipper actually got spotted out by... No, sorry, that's the Wardens of Rev, I don't believe see the Veiled Rot, and this is a Veiled Rot active from Chipper, so that might be the difference. They might spot each other, though. Yeah, Glacius is going to be able to find the Chipper right there, so his ganks will not be successful down in this bottom lane, and Kraken just going to hide behind the tower, as Magnus is also looking for an angle to set something up, but they really can't find it because the RmR guys are playing way too passive. Oh, a freeze right there onto Magnus, and yeah, here comes Chipper, though. There's some teleport reaction coming in. Magnus having already used his Lava Surge. Kraken Ultimate is available. Another Veiled Rot gank coming in here. Marcus Moy did die in the top lane, but we'll ignore that for now. There's a Chipper Saw Blades, but all the rockets going to miss. Lava Surge away, and actually Kraken is going to be the one that falls right here as he is unable to finish off that Magnus. So Marcus Moy died in the top lane, by the way. That was a gank from Impa Pingu, and taking out his opposing carry. Oh, sorry. I was responding to Twitch chat, and it's going to be Omega getting caught out in the bottom rune. Engineer going to try to chase down this Tempest a little bit right here. And he does have his ultimate and his Kegston available. If he can find a Kegston on Tempest, I think this is a kill. And he really can't get the angle, though, as it looks like Boz will be able to make his great escape. So, again, things relatively even right now. There's a slight experience advantage for Ride My Rocket. And I was mentioning before, actually, this might be a little bit of a grudge match because I don't exactly remember who was on the Chat Roulette Boys team. Anyway, middle lane, it's going to be Pingu getting jumped out, and there's the energy field going down. 2 people going to port right into it, though, and immediately get silenced. That was not the greatest decision by them. Glacius and Tempest both going to fall here. They're trying for a counter kill on Engineer. They won't find it. Lava Surge does not connect onto Kraken, so it's a 3 for nothing. And that's going to be Tier 1 tower, very possibly as well. Kraken here looking to turn something else onto this Magnus. He doesn't have enough mana for a Lava Surge, but he actually had a pretty solid juke right there with the Steam Bath. And he will be able to get out of there, no problem. Top lane, it looks like Kinesis is getting jumped on. Good stasis smash, but Chipper has a haste rune, and there's no way that he's getting out of this one. Eventually, they will just chase him down and kill him. Wow, he nearly gets a counter kill, actually, onto the Chipper. So using that mass control, trying to get some inherent defense up as well. Unfortunately, insufficient amounts. It doesn't even have inherent defense. So. Actually, if he had inherent defense right there, he might have gotten a kill. So, you could perhaps question the build a little bit right there, as the Stasis Smash really isn't that valuable in terms of leveling it up. It does more damage, which is actually pretty solid. But the additional stun duration really isn't particularly long, and the inherent defense can do a lot of, or a lot for you. So, I'm not a big Kinesis player, so I'm not exactly going to question his build too much in terms of the skill order, but... Oh, bottom lane, Magnus getting frozen out here. Glacial Downpour's there on top of the Forsaken ultimate, and that's going to be 1 kill. We see Veiled Rot coming in from the Chipper as well as the Revenant. All of a sudden, Pingu in a lot of trouble. He's going to die thanks to the Saw Blade, so it's a 1-for-1 right now. Kraken has a legitimate invis room, but there's a Ward of Rev right there that's going to spot him out, and they're going to pop the ultimate from Engineer, and let's see, he'll be able to charge away. Gets purged, of course, by going through the energy field. Release the Kraken to be on 1, but that's not going to be a kill, as here comes Cookies looking for some more damage. Obviously, no ultimate available. Tempest Hole is available. 2 heroes going to get locked down. They should both die. Stasis Smash going to kill 1, and the auto attacks and the throws from Kinesis will finish off the other, as Engineer manages to evade the Glacius long enough to get under the tower and away to safety. So decent fight there in the end for the Legion side, as they lose their carry, but they get 3 kills out of it, so they can probably be, or they lose 2 kills, so they'll probably be okay with that. It's not the greatest trade in the world, but it probably favors them a little bit. Perhaps the only issue is that Marcus Moy is continuing to farm up in this top lane, and he actually has 340 GPM, which leads this game, as nobody has a ton of farm, with him and Forsaken doing fairly well. A little bit more support from Marcus Moy on this Hellborn side as well. Veiled Rock Gank coming in once again. That's a Revenant Invis on the Engineer. They will hit the keg stun. Yes, they will. On top of the FA. Turret placed as well. And there's just way too much damage here for Pengu to survive. Marcus Moy picking up that kill. And that's another really, really big one, as they want to shut down this Forsaken Archer. Because the way things are going, Silhouette's going to start taking off pretty soon. And I don't know how much there is going to be to stop her on the Legion side. Kraken's still pretty far away from a portal key, to be honest. He has 185 GPM. Hasn't even completed Steam Boots. Has only, you know, 2/3 of the way there, assuming he buys the 450 gold item right now. And therefore still probably has another 10 plus minutes to go before he starts to pick up a portal key. And that's going to hurt the Legion team a lot, actually. They really need his initiation potential, because they don't want to lead these fights with a Tempest if they can avoid it. But they need at least a Kraken ultimate or a solid Tempest Hole to really execute their strategy, which is based pretty heavily on grouping up and team fighting and winning those 5-on-5 engagements. Hellborn have shown that they're much, much better as far as ganking goes. Obviously, Magnus, Chipper, Revenant, even Engineer, very solid gank heroes, so they're superior in terms of overall pick-off potential, especially without items, thanks to that Revenant invis, so they can get up on people before they even know it. And now Magnus has a portal key, so that's only going to be enhanced. So I feel like CoolIo in a really good position. Top lane, Marcus Moy taking a lot of damage from this Kinesis. Will have to pop his power supply. He's going to run his illusion away right there, but it will be killed. For some reason, he's running right back into this Kinesis. Didn't get a stun down, and Kinesis might be able to finish off this kill. Bottom lane, Pengu gets picked off, but I think Marcus Moy still trying to run away. Is he going to be able to find the angle? No, he can't, and we'll see if anything else happens in this bot lane. Energy field goes down, that prevents further initiation, and eventually it's the Forgotten One up top that dies thanks to the Saw Blades. Kinesis looking for something else out of the Chipper, but he's now out of mana, and actually look at the finish on the Kinesis as well. Marcus Moy coming back in, playing pretty ballsy right there. He has the Sustainer, which keeps his mana and health up a little bit more, so he had more as a result of staying out of the fight for a little while, but it was still a pretty aggressive play right there, figuring though that no mana on Kinesis means he really can't do too much to me, and that's fairly true. Middle lane Illusion on Chipper dies, so nothing happens there, and a tier 1 top is going to get killed, so CoolIo taking and expanding a pretty good gold lead right now, actually, nearly 9k at 16 minutes, and that is a good amount of GPM that they have over this Legion team. You look at the farm on everybody for RmR, it's just not that great. And especially this Kraken, I think, is one that needs to get farmed harder right now, because he's just not going to be a particularly impactful hero until he gets that portal key and more. He's likely also going to need a Shrunken Head. You look at the magic damage on this Hellborn side, and it's pretty substantial. Between Magnus, Chipper, Revenant, and Engineer, there is a lot of magic damage output. Obviously, Silhouette's going to be more annoying as the game goes on, but Shrunken Head's still going to be very, very important for this Kraken, and that's on top of a portal key, which he is still a 2,000 gold away from, so it may be premature to be thinking about Shrunken Heads right now for Kraken, because that might be, you know, 40 minutes into his future. But Magnus could be in some trouble. We have a Veiled Rot Engineer coming in. We'll drop a Keg Stun, but doesn't actually hit anything with it. They're still going to lock him down. There's a 2-man Lava Surge right there, and he looks like he might be able to get out of this. Energy Field drop, and Tempest, or Kraken ultimate going to be dropped, but it doesn't matter. Q's going to die. Still 2 on the Hellborn side dead as they pick off both the Chipper and the Magnus. There goes the Forgotten One, so it's a 2 for 2 right now, but Engineer going to pay for that as he gets Stasis smashed and killed. Cookie's picking up a double tap, and so it's a 3 for 2 there in favor of the Legion side. Neither team loses their one position hero, but it looks like the Hellborn might be dropping the tower right here. Revenant kind of hanging out, looking for some sort of initiation, but this is a pretty dangerous and unnecessary decision. If for whatever reason they have a Rev Ward or Dust or something like that, and they happen to find him, it's a free and easy kill. And what's he gonna do? I guess he's trying to chase down this Tempest a little bit, but they know about this because there's a Ward of Rev right there, so he's gonna take some Glacial Blasts. Here comes the Glacius. He's going to walk right back into the Ward of Rev site. Also gets dusted out. There's a freeze, and now Revenant's really dead. So this is sort of what I was talking about when I said, why are you doing this, Adro? Because what was the upside for you? Maybe you kill the Tempest. But it's a pretty big maybe, and the eventual outcome of him dying is not hugely surprising right there, considering teams that play against Revenant typically like to carry Invis Detection. And RmR is no exception to that, because they're not stupid. Anyway, top tier 2 tower actually dies, so the Legion take a tier 1 bottom, but they also lose a tier 2 top, and in the end, a decent enough tower trade. The tier 2 in the top lane for the Legion side is really not a particularly valuable tower in terms of map control. It's probably the least valuable. In this tier 1, it's potentially valuable for supporting people who are ganking the Legion Woods, or maybe even going to Roshan, aka Kongor, sorry. They still have tier 1 mid, so that's really not that big a deal, but presumably that tower is not going to be alive for too much longer. Chipper with Illusion Runes, looking to jump something onto this Kraken right here, but he's actually got a lot of team support. Veldrock ganks being continuously used by this Hellborn team. It is broken right there as the Glacius spots out the Engineer. This is a Revenant, but there's a Word of Revelation right here, so if he gets too close, then he will be seen, despite the fact that he has invisibility. And I think that Word of Sight saw him go invis anyway. So both teams sort of grouping up here around the middle lane. We do have Qzane on the Kraken headed top, as well as Catlo mains Magnus in bottom, and Boz on Tempest heading to the middle lane. But for the most part, it looks like about 4 heroes grouping up around here. Tree Grapple's used right there, and still looking to pour out to her Illusion. That's good, because otherwise this could be really bad for her. Actually, Chipper is going to get caught in the midst of a number of heroes. Puts the Saw Blades down, but not being too much there. Stasis Smash into the mass control. They will be able to finish off the Glacius. Tempest going to lock down 3 heroes now as Revenant walks into it for some reason. So we'll see if they actually get any kills out of this. Magma's coming in with a Portal Key stun. Forsaken Archer taking a lot of damage right there. Release the Kraken, going to hit onto a couple. Chipper Rock's going to be eaten as Adro dies, but Marcus Moy's Deathlow just finishes off Pengu, and there goes Cookies as well as the Tree Grapple stun hits him. Magma's Lava Surge will help to kill Qzane's Kraken, and that's a really big fight for the Hellborn team as they lose 4 on the Legion side, and they only get the Revenant, and all of a sudden it looks like CoolIo are in a substantial lead. We're over 500 GPM now on this Silhouette. She has her Nullstone completed, I believe. That's not just a recipe. Yeah, it's in fact a full Nullstone. She has only 2100 gold saved up, so I would imagine Firebrand is in the works for her. She may be looking to go for a Shrunken, as both of those could be extremely valuable, but I wouldn't like to see it, because Nullstone plus a Shrunken Head seems a little bit excessive, and the fact that she's picked up Mystic Vestments makes me think that it's going to be a Geometer's Bane next on her list, which is, like I said before, my preferred choice. And she definitely has the money here to buy the Firebrand. Perhaps the only issue is the item slots, but I think she could drop the mana battery pretty quickly and easily. Speaking of other items, Chipper has gone for a tablet early on, as opposed to, say, a Portal Key or a Staff of the Master. And considering the Legion side has a Kraken and a Tempest and a Glacius, I certainly have no problem with that decision. Even the Forsaken Archer can be disrupted a little bit with a Tablet of Command, as it's difficult to land her Q, and you can get tableted out of her ultimate pretty easily. So we're going to see one of those on Chipper. We will likely see one on Magnus as well, as he's got nearly 2,000 gold saved up, so I wouldn't be surprised. Bottom lane, Forsaken Archer going to get jumped as well. We'll see if they can actually get this kill. Yeah, I think she's going to die to the tick from the Revenant, but they actually lose both of those heroes right there as Chipper and Revenant die to the teleport ganks from the Legion side. So really good support from RmR, unfortunately a little bit later than it was necessary to save Forsaken Archer or even deny her. And the Hellborn side get their target, but they lose both of their agents in the process. I love this Engineer Spider Mine so much. One game I blocked this card camp right here. If you put a mine like right between these trees and the river, then it blocks the hard camp. I blocked that camp, and I blocked this far right camp for like 45 full minutes, while the other team apparently just didn't do anything. And Forsaken, easy kills. So this is a situation. Oh, Portal Key. Right, I'm dumb. Wow. That's what FA bought. Bought a Portal Key. Makes the most sense. right? That's what she didn't have that before. No, she didn't. Yeah, she bought a portal key. She sold her teleport. And I actually prefer to see her sell her mana battery. She doesn't need a teleport, so we'll see if she ends up doing that, but I would expect that she will, because she's going to need that space, and you don't really want to drop the vestments right now because you're not particularly tanky, and the vestments are actually going to do a lot of work for you. But Marcus Moy playing this like a boss. Obviously, he is a fantastic and well-known Silhouette player, so not hugely surprising. Rest of the Hellborn team has, yeah, it is a tablet finished up on Magnus. There's also a tablet on Engineer, so we're looking at 3 tablets on the Hellborn side, picked up in quick succession, and I'm quite okay with that. I think every single team needs to have at least 1 tablet. 2 are often necessary or preferred, and in a game like this, when you have multiple heroes with abilities that suffer against a tablet of command, obviously, even getting 3 is not a bad idea at all. You don't know who's going to get stunned and who's going to get locked down, so making sure that somebody has a tablet to stop some stuff is quite valuable. And we're going for Kongor here, obviously, so this will be a token of life up on the Silhouette, presumably, who will be dropping her mana battery for this. Yeah, so she'll get a token out of this. And this could lead into a base push, actually, for the Hellborn side, as they've taken out a tier 2 tower in the top lane, and the one in mid is just tickled a little bit. Anyway, Kraken gonna get a jump as well onto the Revenant, so I think he's gonna die. Yeah, gets melted pretty quickly, but all of a sudden, oh, Glacia's gonna survive the initiation from Silhouette. This Kongor is very, very low. Chipper out of mana right now, and there are 3 heroes jumped on top of him. The Kinesis is gonna help finish him off, but Pingu actually gets the kill with his crippling volley, as Marcus Moy no longer wants to be here. The rest of the Hellborn side will come in for a little bit of backup, but they're gonna see how low Kongor is and perhaps try to steal it. As, yeah, they're going to get the dust out right there, but they're going to charge Magnus back in, and all of a sudden Glacius dies. There goes Catelyn out of the Magnus. It's all of a sudden a 2 versus 4 in favor of the Legion team. Kraken getting chased down by this Engineer, who's going to use the push book to get himself forward. Meanwhile, Marcus Moy is picking off everybody in the background as he's nearing 500 GPM, just has way too much damage. Going to need to hit the Death Lotus right there. Nope, he's got a portal key, so he'll be just fine. Death Lotus, Death Lotus, Death Lotus. Need to hit the Death Lotus. I don't think you have the move speed there, buddy. He's going to have PK back up in a couple of seconds. He actually activates the tree grapple, and I don't think Cookies is getting out of this one, except for by a fantastic gank, but he can't find that. Just throw your Death Lotus, man. You'll get the kill. Oh, he doesn't have the mana for it. That's why. What am I even talking about? Use another tree grapple. And finally, frickin' Cookies dies after, like, 12 years of chasing him around in the woods. They eventually managed to get the kill, so in the end, it does end up being a 1-team fight for the Hellborn side. So there's a couple of heroes, but they will defend the Kongor and be able to pick it off themselves. And I think it's really Marcus Moy's excessive amount of farm is starting to play a factor, even though we're only 25 minutes in. We're seeing how powerful a heavily farmed Silhouette can get. The other thing to mention, she's level 19. Look at the XPM charts right here. She's approaching 800 experience per minute, which is a lot. And that's just a testament to how well Silhouette can split farm and move around the map with the correct usage of the illusion, and how good Marcus Moy is with this hero, because he has a lot of experience playing it, and he clearly knows what he's doing. So those additional levels on Silhouette are definitely making a significant difference, and CoolIo in a very good position as a result of her farm, and of course the very solid farm on everybody, really, on the Hellborn side. You look at even the Engineer at 340 gold per minute, so barely even playing the second support role here. He's actually got quite a lot of farm. He's picked up the portal key on top of a push book, and it looks like he's going for a sheepstick right now, as he wants to be able to shut down that Forsaken Archer. Actually, Kraken running away from Chipper here. Doesn't want to take that engagement, and Chipper getting an invis rune out of it. So they really need to find some more farm on this Forsaken Archer. Kraken manages to pick up the portal key, so it took him a while, but he's got nearly 250 GPM right now, so they do have some form of initiation with that. And Silhouette, oh, Engineer going to find the Forsaken Archer right here. The question is, how is the backup? There's 2 of them coming in. Lava Surge will connect him to Pingu. There's the Saw Blades, and he's real dead. Release the Kraken, though, on top of the Glacius ultimate, and 2 dead for the Hellborn side as they pick off both the Chipper and the Revenant. Actually, Chipper immediately buys back. They want to go back in onto this. Silhouette wants some as well. Portal keys all over the place. 2-man Lava Surge. Kegston going to hit both of those heroes. His Forgotten One gets destroyed by Silhouette. Nothing that can be done right there. Tempest on PK away. That's not going to happen. A brand new Shield Breaker that she picked up just does way too much damage, even though the teleport wasn't stopped. Now she's going to start diving a tier 3 tower, because, hey, let's do whatever we want. Catlow main getting that kill as well, and Marcus Moy getting closer and closer to an annihilation streak right here. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this Silhouette, to be honest. He's got 600 gold per minute, and this is all of a sudden looking really, really problematic for Ride My Rocket. They were not in a great position before, but it's getting to the point where it may be an unrecoverable situation. Still a token of life on Silhouette, and they're starting to push the base. Obviously here, Cliff of Fortification will slow them down a little bit, but this is definitely going to be racks, and it may be even more than that. Top lane tier 2 is down, which means they have access to that lane as well. So it's just like, hello, you're real dead. Eruption getting charged in the background as well. It's going to hit on top of this Kraken, doing a lot of damage, and one more auto attack from Catlomain gets that kill, but now Magma's out of mana. He's going to end up falling for this. No, gets the Steam Bath off, doesn't matter. Crippling Volley going to kill that. Meanwhile, the mid-racks do end up falling as Silhouette turns her attention once again to the more priority target. Kraken coming back into this with a buyback. He's going to put the charge on the Sil, but they just don't have the damage here. All of a sudden, she actually could be in some trouble as Engineer gets the energy field down, and Silhouette will fall, so stopping a big streak right there is Mbapingu. They also managed to pick off Archie Tiger, but Tempest can't find an ultimate. Oh, actually did get an ultimate off. Must have been immediately canceled, sorry. As Chipper gets a nice tablet over the ledge, and he might be able to get out of this as a result. Of course, does not have a portal key, so he is going to fall as they finally find him in the woods, so not having that PK might have come back to hurt him right there. It was a really good tablet, but being unable to blink out obviously probably cost him his life right there as he's picked up a glowstone. So clearly going for that Staff of the Master, but I think maybe a portal key might have been a better early decision, to be honest. So other thing to mention before they started to team fight for like 6.5 days, as I haven't been able to talk analytically too much, but obviously Marcus went 12, 4, and 8. Don't want to criticize the build too much, but I feel like a Geometer's Bane might have been a superior pickup to the Shieldbreaker. They don't have too many heroes that you really need like armor mitigation items, I feel like. Just having the additional damage and the additional push would easily be able to secure them the game. I don't really feel like they're in a too much. They're not really threatened right now anyway, so I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but I do slightly prefer the Geo's Bane situation right here because, I mean, to be honest, there's actually a fair bit of stuff to purge as well. Notably the Glacial Blast from Tempest. You have, I believe the Torrent will be purged if you split up, as well as the Glacius Slow. So I think you can Illusion out of Freeze also. So there's a number of things that she's going to want to be able to use her Geometer's Bane to dispel, or use a Geometer's Bane to dispel, as opposed to her ultimate. And she will be picking it up here, so she has got the Firebrand, and will presumably be turning that into a Geo's Bane at some point. Shieldbreaker is already level 3, so I think it's all academic. By the way, there's a double damage rune on her right now, so she hits for 400 damage, just in case you weren't scared before. You probably should be now. Token of Life did get killed in that last team fight, of course, and they really feel like they might as well just keep pushing this because they have a substantial advantage and they want to use it. DD is also up for a while on Silhouette, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful about this because obviously no token means if they lose Silhouette, then she can, you know, easily prevent them from being able to do too much, and she currently does not have a buyback either, so this is a bit of a risky push, no doubt. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I would take it if I were the guys on CoolIo. Now, all of their cooldowns are available, and the Tempest Toll is still down for a little while. I, for some reason, don't have cooldowns enabled. There we go. 17 seconds on that. Okay, Marcus Moy going to jump in and then jump right back out. Just trying to bait some stuff right there. Gets hit by the Crippling Volley. Nullstone is taken by the Glacial Blasts. And she will pour it out to her illusion. Magma's off to the side looking for some stuff, but actually going to get found right here by the Meteor. Has the Lava Surge away, but didn't get over the cliff. Gets the push book over the cliff, but they're going to be able to find and kill Catlomain right there as the burst from Kinesis is just way too strong. Silhouette's illusion is in, looking for a kill on this Glacius. Release the Kraken in the background, catching a couple of heroes, but the tablets continuing to do work. Adro manages to find himself once again. By the way, the Silhouette illusion got a kill. Nice PK ultimate from the Engineer. Shrunken Head goes off from Tempest. He's trying to find an ultimate, but can't do so. All of a sudden, he could actually be in some trouble. Yes! Boz is going to fall. The damage from Silhouette too much. Forsaken Archer Shrunken Head has also been popped, and that's going to be wearing off here in a second as well. So no more magic immunity from the Hellborn team. Magnus, by the way, bought back. He's coming back into this fight. Still has Eruption available, thanks to the fact that he died before he could use it. And that's going to be another tier 3 tower that's killed. And it's likely going to be another Rax death. They managed to finish off Silhouette. Eruption getting charged right there, though. Magnus has the stun, and all of a sudden there's a ton of damage. Silhouette will fall, but I think this could not matter. They're trying to finish off Ping Blues way too quick, thanks to the Energizer, and now Chipper getting a little bit too deep. Another teleport coming in. Nice Kegson, actually, from Engineer. Will push the Kraken back. Tundra Blast going to slow down Chipper a little bit, and he is going to fall thanks to the pre-K from Kraken. Turret is going to stop the Kraken for the meantime, and I don't think he has enough to help finish off this kill. His portal key is deactivated by a pretty nice mine right there. Avoids the turret, or the keg stun, but the torrent going to stop at portal keys going off at the same time, and Engineer gets out as a result, so not bad. As the Legion side, not a successful defense right there. Another Shrunken Head picked up on the Legion side, by the way, so that makes 3. Kinesis going for 1 as well, and I'm okay with that, to be honest. I mean, they mostly just need heavily defensive items here. The Hellborn, as I said, have a pretty good amount of magic damage, and with mitigation from Inherent Defense, as well as the magic immunity now on Kinesis, and then Tempest, as well as Forsaken Archer, a lot of the stuff just isn't going to hit them, and they have damage, so it's not a situation where you're buying a bunch of Shrunken Heads and then you can't kill anything because you went for entirely defensive items. You have a Kinesis Mass Control, that does a ton. You have the Glacial Downpour, that does a ton, and Forsaken Archer actually is not hitting too softly right now. 155 or 165 or so damage, plus her ultimate is a pretty good amount of damage output. And look at the damage charts right here. You see Kinesis, FA, even Kraken up there. As obviously the Hellborn are superior, but they're not hurting too badly when it comes to total damage output. So just past the 30-minute mark right now, and CoolIo's lead is still substantial, and they're definitely very much in control of this game, but I think they're going to realize pretty quickly that they want to take a better engagement than the one they just did, and they're likely looking for the next Conqueror before they start to push a base again, because Silhouette doesn't really want to be dying anymore in these team fights. And I don't think the Hellborn side can really afford to let her now that they have all these Shrunken Heads up, because they need her to survive. Speaking of Silhouette, can be able to support. Oh, that is the real one, excuse me. It ported into the illusion and gets on out no problem as 2 heroes came in to support her. So 5 heroes on the Legion side, making sure that they want to address the Silhouette. Don't just let her endlessly split push. That's going to be much harder now that she has the Geometer's Bane. So tier 2 tower in this bottom lane being worked on already. I expect that to fall in the next minute or so, as they're basically just like, it's a free tower. There's nothing the Legion team can do to defend it. So RmR is still definitely with the possibility to win this game. I think they do need a portal key on Tempest, though, as he's gone for the Shrunken Head on top of the Mystic Vestments. Probably doesn't need both of those items. And if you can get a PK to follow up the Kraken portal key and start to lock some people down, especially considering how heavily mobile everybody on this Hellborn side is, it's going to be doing a lot more work, because the Kraken ultimate just isn't particularly valuable at this point. They have 3 tablets, it doesn't matter. So Silhouette going to get caught here. Crippling Volley completely whiffs, and they're going to lock her down for a pretty good amount of time, but that's a fake. And so everything's fine. She's way back in base, that's an illusion, and it's going to die, but actually nearly killed Kraken. And that's why Silhouette is a broken-ass hero, because she had no health, and she barely managed to hit the R button, and she still got away, even though like 4 heroes ganked her right there. So, yep, that's pretty much the size of it right there. And the other problem that's creating for this RmR team is this middle lane is continuously pushing in. The Hellborn are constantly looking to get aggressive on this top, so they're basically sitting in their base. And that's a really, really inefficient way to farm, which means that the gold lead and experience lead the Hellborn team already has is only going to get worse. Kraken and is going to charge onto the Engineer. I don't know why he just stood there. He saw the TP coming in. Maybe he thought he could get out with his own portal key before somebody came in, but still unnecessarily aggressive move right there. And now they don't have the Engineer for a minute or so. Considering they just killed Congo, it's not a great timing to take a death if you're Archie Tiger. But, hey, there's another, 5 minutes total on the token, so it's not that big a deal. They'll have him back up and they can push when he revives. Silhouette, can you get ballsy right here? Sort of. Or it's out of the illusion, will be just fine. So, it's again, you have to address the Silhouette because she's constantly doing this, but you can't kill her. So, it's like, what do? You kill the illusion, if you can, and then she can port into it and be annoying a little bit, or she can just let it die like that, and you've wasted a bunch of spells and time killing a silhouette illusion and accomplishing very little in terms of furthering your own objectives. By the way, Staff the Master was finished on Chipper, so he doesn't have a portal key, but the push book will help him get into these fights, and having those saw blades, which not only slow but do a crap ton of damage now, is going to be extremely difficult to deal with. Setting them up on top of the Magma Stun. Oh boy, Forsaken Archer can pop the Shrunken Head and run away because she absolutely needs to. And so Chipper is going to be, or sorry, Silhouette, yeah. Pingu on the Forsaken Archer will be alive for the next fight, but no Shrunken Head, and they are well aware of that, and so they're going to push right now. Architiger joining them. And this is definitely a good opportunity to take some racks right here. Ultimates are up from everybody on both sides, as Chippers is only a couple seconds away from cooling down. And the illusion being popped as well by Syl to be able to get her out of engagements if they need her to. But they do have a little bit of a timing window here before the Shrunken Head comes back on the Forsaken. By the way, there's double damage rune on Silhouette because it was bottled by Magnus in that bot river and then handed off, of course. That's a fake. Just kill the fake. Alright. So they want creep wave support here, but the counter push from Hellborn is solid. As you see, the creep wave's dying pretty quickly. Two-man Lava Surge is there on top of the Saw Blades, and all of a sudden, people are going to start dying on the Hellborn side. Kraken looking for a charge, but nice tablet from Chipper. Going to get him over the ledge. And Silhouette gets the Millstone taken off, and she does die, but the token going to bring her right back up. She will also pop the Geometer's Bane here, and the racks are going to start to fall as a lot of cooldowns are used by both sides. Kraken going to miss the charge. And that's a pretty significant failed initiation right there. Still has his ultimate. Kraken still, a nice Tempest. Man, nice stun from Magnus right there. They will kill Marcus One. You just got destroyed before he could do anything. They're also going to be able to pick off the Revenant. Stasis Smash going to go through on Chipper, who tablets himself up the ledge. That's not exactly the direction you want to go in, and he's going to be the third casualty. Another nice tablet, this time from Kinesis. Going to try to chase down this Magnus as he's continuously canceling the portal key, but the Steam Bath going to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Push book over the ledge. Magnus responds with a Lava Surge and a portal key away, so it looks like Catlow Man will be just fine. Meanwhile, middle lane Engineer looking to try to finish off these top racks. I think he's going to get it, actually. He needs a couple more auto attacks. He's trying to dodge all this stuff and kill them. One more. Yes, that's going to be a rack's dead, so Architiger will be paying for this with his life, but that's definitely a worthwhile trade. And in the end, it looks like the guys on Hellborn will finally finish off those racks, but in the meantime, it seems that CoolIo may not be in the position that they thought they were, because they managed to kill Silhouette very quickly and easily in that fight. And she could be needing a Shrunken Head at this point. She has Post Haste on top of her Geometer's Bane, Portal Key, Nullstone, and Shieldbreaker combination, so obviously realizing I can't afford to waste a slot on a TP, but I need a TP, and previously her Token of Life occupied that 6th slot. But I think SH needs to be her final item because she's pretty clearly having some problems staying alive in these fights, even with a Nullstone active. It's just not working out for her. And going to continue to farm up these Legion Woods. And if you look at the GPM charts right here, and she's clearly fallen off a little bit. So she was near that 600 gold per minute mark, and now she's at 540 or so. Obviously, still pretty easily the highest farmer in the game, but much further from where she was, and she will just TP on after the illusion. So her illusion going to die here, and they put in some chip damage to the tower, and she's obviously nowhere near danger. Meanwhile, Ancient's going to be stacked, and she's going to continue to clean those up. So my expectation is they're going to wait for a Shrunken Head on Silhouette because they realize how badly she needs that magic immunity and to stay up and auto-attacking in these fights. And once they have that, they'll feel a lot more comfortable about pushing in that bottom lane and trying to finish off Mega Creeps. The advantage, of course, is that for every lane of racks you take, the next one becomes easier. So taking the first one's always the hardest, taking the second one is the second easiest, and taking the last one is by far the easiest. In some situations, you barely even have to push it. It will push itself because of all the other creeps streaming into the base, and the fact that the Legion side has to continuously defend both top and mid racks now. So this top racks probably will be finished off by the creeps. There's really no reason for the Hellborn team to push it because the range racks eventually typically fall with sufficient distraction. And as long as they play this safe and cool and calm, then they should have little difficulty in coming out with a win. They still do have a substantial gold lead, even if the experience has been mostly evened up. And by the way, Tempest did pick up that portal key, so going to be pretty solid follow-up initiation between those two heroes. Kraken going to completely whiff a charge right there. That was interesting reaction time from Q-Zane. Didn't work particularly well. By the way, he is out of buybacks, so that's worth noting. If Kraken dies, he's dead. And that's, again, pretty significant, because if they can catch him somewhere out of the base, that's a huge part of their initiation that is then gone. They really need that Kraken to start these team fights. And Tempest much more able to do so now that he has the Shrunken PK combination, but not exactly somebody that you want to be jumping in first, because it's unlikely he'll be able to get a significant ultimate off in terms of the number of heroes he hits if he's the one that's jumping, unless the guys on CoolIo play this really, really poorly, which is always possible, but not something you want to count on by any means. And Shrunken Heads are up across the board. Kraken did finish his off, so that's 4 Shrunkens on its Legion side, and that's going to really affect the Hellborn's damage output, of course. Especially the Chipper and the Magnus are going to have serious difficulties doing stuff. Nice jump away from Silhouette before she got PK'd and charged back into the base. And Geometer's Bane is also up on Forsaken Archer, so that's going to significantly increase her damage output. And Geo's Bane, probably the most effective damage output in the game. Well, probably, or definitely the most effective damage output item in the game, plus 67% damage, because it creates 2 illusions that each do 33.3%. And so if you round it, that's why it's 67, not 66. But anyway, I like that pickup for a number of reasons. Usually she might have issues with lockdown, especially because Crippling Volley is so hard to hit. Actually, they're going to be able to catch out I don't even know. Marcus Moy's dead. Oh, what? That was Silhouette. I can't even freaking tell, because it's always the illusion. And anyway, top lane, a lot of port's going to be able to defend this against Archtiger, who's trying to push. He gets the tablet over the ledge. That is a fake Silhouette, obviously. It's just the illusion. She has a buyback available, but she's not going to be forced to use it, as it looks like the Legion will be unable to really capitalize on that kill. She's still dead for another minute, but I don't think they're going to get much out of it. Kongor not alive. They can't take that, and they realistically can't push lanes because they have too much down. They need to get a pick on more than just one hero if they want to counter Arax. Anyway, the FA, Geometer's Bane, usually she can have issues with locking heroes down because she only has the 1 CC tool on Crippling Volley and it's difficult to hit. So in that sort of situation, you might see a Geo's Bane as an excessively greedy pickup because the illusions will basically just stand there and not do all that much damage. And so you often see something like a Frostwolf Skull to try to slow heroes and give her some additional bulk, which actually works quite well, especially with a split shot. In this situation, though, obviously you have a Tempest, you have a Kraken, and you have a Glacius, so that's not that big a deal, and for the most part, she needs to use that when they're taking team fights and pushing towers, so I very much like the Geometer's Bane choice right here from Pingu, and we'll see it in action, as Tier 2 in the middle lane is going to be killed, or at least heavily aggressed. Bottom lane, they're going to jump on top of Chipper right here. As the focus buff around, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as they're going to have enough stuns to take him down. Glacius ultimate doing some damage, but a Forgotten One just gets destroyed as Marcus Moy comes into this fight with the TP boots, and all of a sudden, all of the Legion heroes are falling as they drop both Cookies and Boz. So Tempest unable to get an ultimate off. He does not have a buyback, and that could be game, to be honest. Yeah, there's no buybacks in this Legion team, which means their damage output right now is 0. Release the Kraken in the background, going to go through. They do kill Adro on that Revenant, but that's going to cost him a Shrunken Head cooldown and release the Kraken. I don't think they'll have enough damage to finish him. Yes, they will, actually. That TP lasting just long enough. And Marcus Moy going to TP on out to his illusion, which is way further back. It looks like actually they'll be able to catch Pingu right here as well. Eruption being charged up by Magnus, and all of a sudden Forsaken Archer in a lot of trouble. He gets the Shrunken Head off, but maybe he'll get a kill out of this, and maybe he won't. The question is, how will he die? Actually gets 2 kills out of it, but he still does fall, and so the only hero alive for the entire game is the Silhouette, and she's just fine with that, and she's using the illusions to push in the bottom racks. Takes a tier 3 tower pretty quickly and easily. Pingu does buy back, as Cookies, I think, bought back right there. Anyway, the illusion killed really easily. So Forsaken Archer trying to stop the Silhouette push a little bit, and you're going to find it quite difficult. Glacius coming back in with a Nullstone Dispel, and has to be careful about this. Pingu actually taking a lot of damage from the Shield Breaker as well. And the illusion to be caught and killed, it looks like, but that's not going to matter too much. They actually stasis smash it, but here comes Marcus Moy right back in. And swapped out to the illusion, so Chipper Saw Blades go down, Kinesis says pop a Shrunken Head, and that eats the rockets. Is that going to be it? Yeah, it looks like they can't finish off these racks as here comes Tempest, so the resurrection's happening in time for the Legion side to successfully defend their last lane, but losing yet another tower, and now Kongor is back up, which means we're probably looking at a token for Silhouette. She has 5,400 gold saved up. Both of her buybacks are available. A double damage rune active is going to assist in a very easy Kongor kill, and I'm going to guess that this is Kongor into bot racks, which means Mega Creeps, and that's game. So, don't want to write RmR off completely here because the Godhold possibility is still active from Boz. He has the Shrunken Head and the Portal Key, so it's not impossible. But that's basically what's going to need to happen right here. A 4 or 5 man Tempest ultimate, including a catch onto Silhouette. Actually goes for the bananas here instead of the token, and I really don't like that. Because if she does get caught, she could easily be killed before she gets the bananas off. She is not especially tanky with the Nullstone and the 2,000 health. She does not have any magic immunity, and there's a good amount of AoE damage from this Legion side that could come through and finish her off, especially from the magical side. And I would much, much prefer to see her take the token and give the bananas to either Chipper or Magnus. So, interesting decision making right there. In the end, I think they're too far ahead for it really to cripple them, but it could. I mean, it's just, there's no reason to not care about things like that. You might as well make the right call, and I think it's pretty easily the right call in this situation is a token of life. On to Sil. She bought a Behemoth's Heart. She sold her Portal Key and bought a Behemoth's Heart. Alright. Well, I guess that's where the bananas come into play. Honestly, I feel like a Shrunken Head would do more for her than a Behemoth's Heart will. I think she'd eat more damage with a Shrunken than a Behe Heart. I still think she can die with that. Because they have a good amount of CC on the Legion team. It's not like they are unable to prevent a hero from getting away. So, that's an interesting pickup from Marcus Moy right there. As they're continuously slow pushing this bottom lane. There's initiation right there on a Forsaken Archer. The energy field drop there as well. Tempest Hole not going to be cancelled as everybody's dropping right here. The Silhouette is going to stay alive if she wasn't caught. Chipper is going to fall with the token though, and Silhouette's still alive, so I don't think this is going to result in the Legion winning anything. Eruption really completely misses right there, but I don't think it is going to matter. Forsaken Illusion's doing a good amount of damage as Pingu comes back into this fight, looking for another initiation, but there goes one set of racks. And Magma's continuing trying to stop people. Glyph of Fortification to change the rain racks right there. And Silhouette's actually going to take a fair bit of damage now, but it doesn't matter. She finishes the racks off. That's going to be Mega Creeps, and that's definitely going to be the game, as there's no way they can fight against this. They might get some more kills. Actually, no, it's the Forgotten One on Glacius who ends up falling right here. Silhouette poking in and out, trying to distract the team as both Engineer and Magma survive. Actually, it's Kinesis that they're going to get counter jump onto. And Kraken looking for a kill on Archdagger. He will find it. He actually misses a Lava Surge onto the Kraken, but it doesn't matter as Chipper Rockets are there to finish off Q-Zane. So, game goes through, and it will be CoolIo taking game 1 in this best of 3 series, losers bracket finals. So, they're going to be 1 game up and able to go right back to Diamond Division, or right to Diamond Division for the first time, actually, if they can pull out a victory in game 2. And if they can't, they still will have the opportunity in game 3. So, looking pretty good as far as the outset of the series. And obviously, Marcus Moy on one of his signature heroes doing a lot of work. But in general, I don't really want to blame the draft from the Legion side, but I feel like if that was any number of carries that were not Forsaken Archer, RmR would have had a much better shot in that game. They still did take some iffy engagements and stuff like that, but in the end, I don't feel like it was anything other than just some kind of poor to mediocre drafting, and or at least one draft error, and then some iffy plays, I guess. I don't know, there's not too much to say about it, to be honest. So, oh well, that's going to do it for the first game, so we'll be right back with game 2.